We're excited to bring to you the Latino Startup of the Year competition here at Hispanicize, our first annual. So a very historic day. And also want to thank our sponsor, Strayer University, who's here in the audience and also judging as well. And so we're going to have 4 entrepreneurs pitch their company. They have 5 minutes to pitch, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A and feedback from the judges. Okay, and so what the judges are looking for is, when you think about the judging criteria, team, market opportunity, scalability, traction. And so we have a good set of judges, and I'll let them introduce themselves briefly as we start this off.
So I'm Jared Beckman. I'm with Florida VC.
Mario Tapia with Momentum and Fund.
Ed Martinez. I'm one of the co-founders of Latino Startup Alliance.
Hi, I'm Christine Nieves, and I work for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.
Hi, Christina Henley, and I head public relations for Strayer University.
And first up, we have Giovanni Dubois from New Force Media.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Jesse and Hispanicize, for allowing me to share our story. My name is Giovanni Dubois, and I'm the co-founder of New Force Media. New Force Media is a multifaceted media company and a power networking platform for diverse, affluent communities. We started with 2 different communities, the Latino professional community and the LGBT community, professional community. And we started with these 2 groups because they are growing and influential markets throughout the United States. Now, all of us here, Latinos, we know that we love to spend money. We have tremendous spending power. But not only that, advertisers are spending more than $4.3 billion a year to reach us. LGBT community, their spending power is $700 billion, and advertisers are spending $300 million a year to reach them. So it's a tremendous market opportunity there. So what is New Force Media again? New Force Media is a media company that has created a platform to change the way we within the communities connect and create valuable relationships, and are providing advertisers a new avenue, a new way for them to connect with this difficult to reach demographics. Now, New Force Media is represented by 2 different brands. .429 for the LGBT networks and communities, professional networks, and LAM, which focuses on the Latino professional market. Now, LAM is currently only in San Francisco Bay Area, and it's expected to expand nationally in 2014. .429 already has a national presence throughout key markets in the US. So how do we do it? We provide a 360-degree experience for our members in this different communities. We provide live events with art exhibitions, seminars, professional development seminars, conferences, etc. We provide an online interactive website, think LinkedIn for Latinos or LinkedIn for LGBT, so technology sense, and also provide online content that elevates the conversation that our communities are having. And the best part of it is that our members are happy with us. They love us. In the last 2 years, we've been able to grow to 100,000 members. But more than our members, our advertisers are really happy with us. We've been fortunate to partner with some of the top brands in the US, like Fiat, Armani, Verizon, and others. And because of it, we've been able to double our revenue, reaching close to $1 million in revenue in 2013. But they're happy because they're able to reach, like I mentioned, markets that spend a lot of money, but also we provide them a very niche demographic that are trendsetters and influencers that otherwise would not have been able to reach. Now, our revenue model is simple. It's 3 different forms of advertising and also premium membership. With advertising, we primarily focus on the big idea campaigns. To give you an example, Fiat came to us and said, we want to reach the top LGBT influencers across the United States. So we helped them develop a customized marketing campaign in 10 different markets to launch Fiat 500. And that was an extremely successful campaign. We also do online advertising and print advertising. .429 currently has a magazine that has 100,000 distribution across the US. Last but not least, this premium membership revenue model, where our members receive not only access to exclusive events, but also discounts and, I guess, cool relationships with our partners. So, for example, Aeromexico is giving us 10% off for our premium members. Now, New Force Media, as I mentioned earlier, is changing the way people connect and create valuable relationships. And not only that, we're empowering our individuals within these communities. And because of that, we have tremendous growth power. Our forecast shows that we're going to reach $37 million in revenue by year 2016 and $100 million in revenue by year 2018, and reaching 1 million users by year 2016. Now, because of this growth potential, we're currently seeking $3 million in investment. But I made it easy for all of you because we've already raised one, so we just need two from you guys. Now, the way we plan to use these funds is to expand LAM nationally, as I mentioned earlier. We want to take it across the US. We want to continue the expansion of .429 into new markets and take it globally as well. In addition, we want to enhance our media platform and upgrade our technology. Currently, our technology is really just a prototype, but we already have tremendous traction that we want to enhance it. And coincidentally, our first investor is a technical lead investor, so it's great. And at the end of the day, we want to enhance the user experience in addition to other factors. Now, we're very lucky to have a very strong team within New Force Media, starting with Mo Vela. Mo Vela is our CEO. He was the first Latino to ever serve at the White House in an executive role twice. Last, he was the chief of staff of Joe Biden. So he has a tremendous network across the US to help us expand nationally within the Latino market. And he also happens to be gay, so that's a great, he wears both hats. Richard Klein is our brain creative power. So he is an amazing creative person. He launched a magazine called Surface Magazine and successfully sold it 5 years ago for it's a multi-million-dollar magazine called Surface. And our rest of the team has tremendous expertise not only in marketing, but in the US Hispanic market, the LGBT market. And together, we believe that we can take New Force Media to a whole new level and really provide the platform that our communities need to elevate the conversation and continue creating valuable relationships. So with that, thank you for the opportunity, and any questions?
I'll start with a question. Two questions, actually. One, forgive me, I don't know. What is the significance of .429? What is the story behind that?
So .429, the name came to be because the story goes that Prop 8 didn't pass. They were in a room full of highly influential individuals, including the co-founders, Richard, and our chair of the board, Bill Stewart. He used to be the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer at Kmart. And they looked at the room. There was 300 gay, lesbian, LGBT community members. And how can there be so much power and not make a difference? So they wanted to connect the dots. They wanted to connect individuals within this community. And 429 spells out gay on your phone.
Oh, interesting. That's a great part of your story.
Right. So we haven't come up with something as fancy with LAM. So part of the funds for LAM is going to be rebranding LAM a little bit.
Interesting.
Hey, Giovanni, I have a question for you. Okay, so so you're addressing two very different communities.
Correct.
And typically what helps you with success is focus.
Right.
It's definitely for every investor. It's focus, focus, focus. You don't want to claim that I'm building a new Yahoo, a new Google.
Right.
We want to see like, no, I'm going to kill search. I'm going to
Right.
kill something very specific. Why the decision to do both as opposed to, because it's now you have, you can't, remember the Karate Kid? You can't do yes or no in the middle. You get squished.
So actually, the story is also very interesting because LAM and .429 existed before we created New Force Media. I founded LAM 7 years ago as a PhD student at Berkeley, wanting to connect with other Latinos. I missed connecting with other Latinos. As an engineering student at Berkeley, I was pretty alone. So I started LAM as a hobby. I did that for 5 years. A year and a half ago, I made it a business. .429, I shared how it started. I met .429 through just social media. And I reached out to the founder and I said, I'd love for you to be an advisory board member. And when we started talking, there was a lot of similarities, a lot of synergies about how both communities are now coming into power. Both communities are now wanting to connect with each other and help each other out. The reason Hispanicize exists. And not only that, and the mission and the vision of that, but also in the back end, as a business, it makes sense. We're talking to the same individuals, same advertisers. I came out of a meeting with one of the, yeah?
So that was actually my question was, does Fiat want to be associated with Latinos?
As well, exactly.
As well as
Not, I can't speak for all advertisers, but there's many advertisers that target both markets. So Verizon's a perfect example. There are big clients,
What subset of all marketers is that?
multicultural marketing. So there's,
I meant of the two,
I don't understand your question.
of the Latinos and
LGBT.
how many advertisers overlap that particular segment?
I haven't done that study, but in our eyes right now, it's everybody we're talking to wants to target both demographics, at least in the West Coast.
Go ahead.
Sure. Giovanni, so just a follow-up question on that. So you mentioned, customizing a campaign for Fiat. How do you see that happening in the future? Are you building out some technical component that will
Correct.
help you with that targeting?
Completely, yeah, correct. So our technology lead investor is actually coming in very strongly, not only with the cash, but also with the resources to help us develop the right technology to make it not just an interactive website, to make it a power networking platform, which we're developing that as we speak, so I can't really talk fully about it because I don't know all the elements about it, but that is the goal. And at the end goal, we're going to make it very easy for people to connect that want to connect within these two different communities.
So I
And-
have a question about the assumption that you're making around diverse, affluent Latino populations and LGBT communities that, in fact, want to be associated with brands. And I'm having trouble with that assumption because, from my experience, I wouldn't make the assumption that me as a consumer I want to be associated and connect with a brand. And can you help us understand a little bit more about that?
Completely agree. So what we're doing is creating communities of individuals that want to elevate the conversation, that want to create new stereotypes for I can speak for the Latino, that want to create new stereotypes for Latinos. We're NASA engineers, we're professors, we're nonprofit leaders, and what connects LAM specifically and the individuals within LAM is that. And to support that, we're able to connect with brands that believe in the same mission. So Verizon's all about increasing small business owners within the Latino community. So the initiatives that we do with them is all about that. Similar to Hispanicize. I mean, we're all here because we want to connect with other bloggers, filmmakers, marketers, but it's supported by brands, and we thank the brands for allowing us to do something like this. So in that, so for me, for example, I've never heard of Strayer University till today, which is great. So thank you for sponsoring.
So question on revenue. Free to be a member, is it gonna be
It's a freemium model.
a freemium model? And then, I do events myself with community. The margins on events are, there's not money in events. I mean, you have to do a big conference and
Correct.
charge $2K for a ticket for
Right.
actually getting any revenue. But like monthly meetups and community stuff, there's not much money into that.
Right.
Where do
So
you-
events is, as in our revenue model, the events is very minimal. The chunk of our revenue comes from big idea marketing campaigns, which we've successfully done with Lexus, Fiat, Verizon.
So you have your members, like 85,000 community, et cetera, and you're just growing that and saying,
Correct.
here's our market and here's our.
Correct. And when we do big idea campaigns, it's not, I mean, of course, we utilize our communities, but we expand from that as well.
What do they get for a big, what does Fiat get, which happens to
It's a
make
customized marketing campaign,
and it makes up half of your revenue?
half of our revenue. Correct. And to add to the why two different and not focus, something I forgot to mention is also the technology behind it is very similar. We created an internal white label, and you switch the brand, switch the model, and it's different members, different communities. That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Antonio from Interesante. Ready?
Hello. My name is Antonio Altamirano. I'm from Interesante.com. So basically, Interesante is most people speak Spanish here, but just in case. Interesante translates to interesting.com, right? So that's our domain. And what we do is we help people discover and share the most interesting things in the world. Now, that is a really big statement. How are we going to go about it? That's the interesting part about it. So, but before I go into detail about what is our strategy and the tactics behind it, I have to introduce you to our wonderful team. So we have a team that is hands-on, that has the capabilities of building this site. And I'm going to tell you about the traction that we've gotten so far, but here's the key members of our team. So we have engineering, we have design, business development, data science, and products and partnerships. So, and we've been working together for about 6 years, but we launched Interesante in December 2012. Of course, we need advisors. So this is our board of advisors right now. They have skills in a wide range of topics, from marketing to Peter, for instance, is a VC in Palo Alto, so he gives us great strategic advice in terms of term sheets and stuff like that. Buddy is from Perkins Coie. He's our legal advisor, and of course Laura, she's a very good friend of ours, and one of the first employees at Twitter, and I think the first Latina at Twitter too. So yeah. So what is the problem? So the problem is that the content and product discovery is fragmented. So that means that for Latinos in particular, we have a lot of sources of content. You go online and there's content everywhere, from blogs to large corporations to publications abroad. So that is the problem that we're trying to solve. I want to provide the users with a personalized experience based on their interests, not based on what the purpose of that particular company might be. So we're all focused on the user and on the interest of the user. So how do we do it? So we are mobile first. We're going to go, we are actually already going after the market, the Android market, the iOS market, and we know that especially in Latin America, Android is gigantic. So this is a picture of an iPhone, but don't mind. So basically the process is that we take all this content into our engine of interests and we serve a set of content that is personalized and relevant to you. So, and how do we get that? We integrate with the major social platforms. So, you know, you have a Facebook account, you have a Twitter account, you can go, we can collect all the interest based on that. So I'm going to go directly into the traction. So basically, how do we get people to use Interesante? It's really hard to launch a product from the ground up. So what we did is we went after partners that need this product and partners that are missing out in a lot of traffic. So hotels is our first partnership. So we have a product for hotels that gives them a branded experience and a localized experience for the user. So we're not giving up all the user experience for catering to brands. We are using brands to provide a more personalized experience. The impact. 500K in seed has gotten us this far. 20x in traffic growth, lots of posts per new user. Right now we're over 800,000 postings on the platform, thousands of interests posted every day, and we reach 500,000 users a month. Our partners, Grupo Posadas, we're operational in 100 hotels. We're running a pilot with Sanborns, which is the Starbucks of Mexico. And we are part of Grupo Carso's incubator, but you know, we need more muscle there. So what do we need? We need help closing more clients in Mexico and in the US. We're in talks with one of the largest digital agencies in Mexico. We need help closing that. We need help reaching out to political campaigns in Mexico as well. Touristic areas, we're talking to them as well. Resorts, universities, we need interest to them. We need interest in more coffee shops, coffee chains, and airports. You can imagine how much traffic that could get. Only airports will get us about 11 million page views a month. The funds, we need to hire 2 more developers, 1 business developer, and 1 designer. That's it.
So I wanted more clarity on how you're engaging like hotels. So Interesante, you want to build a brand for Interesante. Like that's the app,
Correct.
that's the destination. You don't, are you creating a white label? Did you do something for the
It's
hotels?
powered by Interesante. So
Okay.
it's so we give them the possibility of branding their landing pages,
Got it.
but it's always powered by Interesante.
Okay.
And you take it with you. That's the
Okay,
advantage.
but then you're giving them, I mean, basically, you're not ingesting that audience is not coming to Interesante, it's staying at the hotels, right?
No, that's the great thing. So before they, and most of you have experienced this, you go to a hotel or to any public Wi-Fi, and you go to a generic landing page or maybe Facebook or something like that, right? But what we're doing is we're replacing that with Interesante, and the advantage here is that there is a bounce rate of 99% before we went in, and we were able to reduce that by 20%. So that's traffic that they were not getting before, and that's monetizable traffic that they can use to promote their interests.
Got it, so basically, if I was here at Intercontinental, I get access to Wi-Fi, you're the
Exactly.
homepage.
Yep,
the landing
exactly.
page.
And what's happening is that because it's visual, because it's relevant, it's geolocated, and it's fresh information, then people are actually signing up, becoming a user, and a lot of these travelers, like you guys, you go to the same hotels probably most of the time, and that app is going to get first the brands to get to know you better, and you are going to have a much better experience when you get to the hotels where you go.
Who do you see as your biggest competitors today?
So there are spectrums, right? So on one side, on the fully consumer side, we see Pinterest more as a companion in the road rather than a competitor, you know. And on the other side of things, we have sites like Mercado Libre that is fully e-commerce. So we fit nicely in the middle.
So just to clarify, on the user experience,
Yep.
let's say I go and go through the Wi-Fi setup. What's my route to get back to Interesante? Is it literally just going to the website and let's say I'm here, right?
So so what happens is when you open your browser, then at the very top you might have seen how it says download the app right now. So you have the option of downloading the app. And this is the cool thing. So when you are within the hotel, then the experience is more localized, is more branded, is more specific to where you are, right? But as soon as you leave the hotel, leave the private network, then it becomes more general, but still relevant to you.
So,
Yeah.
so is the app that I'm downloading, is it Interesante or is it?
Interesante.
powered by-
Interesante. Yeah. So we have the ability to recognize when you are in a private network. We pick up that configuration, and the app recognizes that you're within the private network that is a partner of ours, and serves that experience.
So who would you describe as your ideal customer or client? Because I'm struggling a little bit with, okay, would I use this app? What would be my experience with it? Who would get value out of this?
So on one side, you have the users, because you are going to have only one application where you can consume a lot of the relevant content and fresh content that you have. On the other side, we have business customers, right? So I'm going to give you a quick example of one of the conversations that we're having in Mexico, right? So in Mexico, the Wi-Fi is growing a lot. The infrastructure is growing a lot. So, and the elections are coming up, right? So we're talking to officials that are running for office, and what they want to do is they want to sponsor Wi-Fi hotspots, public hotspots that are powered by Interesante as a content provider, right? So one of the use cases that we've run into is that we are going to basically replace all the pamphlets, the paper that they're handing out, and simply replacing it with a question, and not propaganda, but questions for the user. So the moment that they answer the question, then they go on and continue with the Interesante experience.
Okay.
So, to that point, my cousin actually runs the Wi-Fi networks of multiple malls. So when the pop-up, you see Starbucks ad.
Right.
He sells that.
Exactly. Yes.
But why would he sell that to you and not go direct to politicians?
Because they are going to have a lot more they're going to have an interest graph for the users. So
But he just cares about making money.
Right, exactly.
From the advertiser.
Yep.
But you would be getting in the middle of it.
Not necessarily. We're going to provide a lot more page views that they can monetize a lot more. So again, going back to the hotel example, they had 99% bounce rate, so they were not monetizing at all. So now they have that traffic that is now monetizable. Before they had like 1%, now they have 20% of monetizable traffic.
So, well, compliments on, on growth hacking in a very unique way with hotels. That's actually
Yeah.
really cool. The other question is, why did you engage with hotels, which is it's phenomenal, but why not go the standard way? I mean, like Hispanicize is full of influencers and thought leaders, and I think that's in growth hacking, that's what people want to do is engage, and so you need to find out, what are you going to be doing the next step?
Right.
Because I think you can definitely engage social media Latino influencers and engage with them to help them, at least grow Interesante. And also, are you focused on just, North America, the Americas, or any Spanish-speaking country?
So that is a very interesting question. So we did do the standard launch, right? So you get so for a brand that no one knew, within 2 weeks we had 1,500 people that signed up for the beta. So and that is open to the public, right? And we started growing that user count. Not exponentially, but in a nice curve, right? So, but then what we realized is that we really wanted to utilize the space, the white space that exists within the hotels and within private networks that is growing. So we realized that, for instance, in Mexico, I'm going to focus only on Mexico. So in Mexico, the Wi-Fi infrastructure is growing, but there's no content provider to that network, right? So we wanted to get on that opportunity. And joining both together seemed like a good option for us.
But then going back, what do you want to focus on, U.S. Hispanics, or do you want any Spanish-speaking?
So right now we're focused only on Mexico because that's where the growth is, and our team is not big enough to handle a lot more growth. So, but in general, it will be Spanish-speaking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Is that hotel paying you? Is the hotel paying you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The email?
Oh, just open up Safari. It's on Safari. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Safari, yeah.
Oh.
Hey, oh. So now we have Natasha from Oye.
Hi, so my name is Natasha Pongonis, and I'm the co-founder of Oye, which means to listen for those who don't speak Spanish. Oye is a Hispanic business intelligence, and it's a solution to understand how the Hispanic consumer communicates online. How this work? There you go. I guess we'll have to move that back again. Eric, maybe you can use it. So, but before I tell you a little bit more about Oye, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm the co-owner of Nativa. Nativa is a multicultural communication agency. We started in 2010, and we have offices in Columbus, Ohio. 2 years ago, we opened one in Phoenix, Arizona, and we recently opened in Mexico as well. So we work with different brands and organizations and gov agencies, helping them to reach out to the Hispanics online. And it's through that work with some of these brands that we became aware of the necessity to really provide a technology that can really understand how Hispanics communicate online. And that's how Oye was born. There wasn't anyone who can provide a solution, and we'll keep waiting and waiting. So talking about Hispanics, everyone is aware of the numbers, right? The statistics, 17% today, and how much that is growing in the projection. But what is very interesting for us in Oye is the complexity in the language that we have as Hispanic, right? We communicate in Spanish, we do it in Spanglish, second, third generation is in English. But what is consistent across all this complexity in language is the cultural value, right? We all have that bond with our grandparents or parents or great-grandparents. So that's something that is very important for us as an agency and also for our clients. So when we talk about numbers, right, everyone knows that as the demographic grows and the Hispanic grow, the buying purchase also grows. And there is many, many brands that for many years have been reaching to Hispanics, and they do an even more. So there is a very big opportunity. So what Oye will allow is for different brands and organizations to really help them to understand how Hispanics communicate. I come from the communication agency, so it's something that I face every day. When I put a campaign online, I need to really think very strategically, how is that campaign going to be meaningful for who we're trying to reach? And part of that is really doing a market research and understand what's the language, what are the nuances, what's the implication of the geographic location. And we have used several technologies, from Salesforce to Crimson Hexagon, low cost, really, really high end. And at the end of the day, it was always very limited in how much we can truly get information about Hispanics. The technology that there is today in the market cannot really differentiate Spanish versus Portuguese or even Italian. And it's really having a hard time trying to differentiate for Hispanics who tweet or post on Facebook in the US and not in Mexico. So many of our clients as an agency, they want to understand the Hispanic in the US, or they want to be very focused on the Hispanics in Mexico. And that's when Oye comes to place. Oye will allow our customers to really understand who is the Hispanic consumer, will allow the creative team to develop communication strategy that really create an emotional connection, but also will allow to measure in the strategy that they have implemented and compare among the other competitors. So Oye is very simple. It's nothing new. It's been done, and it's been done very well. What we add in is the Hispanic layer on it. So Oye will be able to analyze, to monitor and analyze Hispanic conversations and create report industry. So this is an example of one report. And actually, this is a specific case for Ford Motor Company. So this is an industry report where you can actually see how you are positioned among your competitors and how Hispanics are talking about your brand. Are they talking in Spanish or is it in English? But what we also add into that is also the sales. How much is sales translating into the volume of conversations they are online? And how is that perhaps impacting also with the stock market? And our solution is you can subscribe as an industry report, and once you become an industry report, you actually have the option to upgrade and become a brand subscriber. And so the brand subscriber, you can actually really dig into the conversations that are relevant for your brand, and you can select different competitor brands and run similar analysis. So when we came across with this idea as an agency, we actually reached out to many other agencies. We reached out to clients in our agency and people that we actually have met here in Hispanic size many years ago. And we wanted to hear the feedback. We wanted to know if they actually have the same experience that we've been facing. And they are. And actually here we have some of my beta testers today supporting. And so we have agencies, but we also have brands that they're both facing the same problem. And they're both trying to really understand how they can communicate to Hispanics online, how they can leverage that opportunity that there is today in the market. And actually, before I came here last week, we sent a quick press release, and White Castle saw it, and they called me, and they're like, we want to be part of Oye. So that was, again, more credibility and more confirmation that Oye is needed, that the technology isn't there, and we can provide a solution. We were in an accelerator in 2013 in the Midwest, in Columbus, Ohio, and we actually got really great traction. We got some funding through the accelerator, and the Midwest is actually getting very excited about what we can do, and they're excited to see a Latina in the Midwest. And so Oye makes sense. Makes sense for us, makes sense for our beta testers, and it makes sense when we look into the number, how the demographic is growing and how the buying power is growing. My team. So like I said, I'm the co-founder, and Eric Diaz is also my business partner at Nativa agency. Together, we decided to create Nativa. And Dave Wang is our CTO. He actually joined the team. He was my mentor when I was in the accelerator. He's in the Valley. And he truly believed in the idea that we have with Oye. So he, as a mentor, he decided he wanted to be part of the team and develop the technology. So we were very excited to have Dave. Dave is a well-recognized big data expert in the field. So we're raising funds right now. So we know there is a demand in the market. We have beta testers. We already have the letter of intent, and we also have interested angels that we're talking to. So the money that we're looking for right now is to continue developing and optimizing the technology that we're doing. We need to buy more data so we can develop additional report for all the other beta testers that we have also, and start creating a sales and a marketing plan.
So 2 questions.
Yeah.
One, of those 4 sort of remaining, can you prioritize for us
Yeah.
in order which you see as being the most critical and most immediate?
Yeah, absolutely. Software optimization is one of the more critical, and we were able to leverage some connections and actually get data without paying for it. And so, but that is going to run short. So software optimization is the main one right now, and the data purchase is also. With the sales and the marketing, we're utilizing some of our internal team in Nativa, and we paying us with Nativa money trying to run that. But if we want to scale and we want to grow, we need that funding to grow to that level. In the case of Fox Broadcasting, there is one of our beta testers. They're not only looking to use Oye in the US, but they're very interested in Latin America because they offer a lot of programming in Latin America. So that opportunity also opened other doors to not only get beta testers or get users in Latin America as well. And for all that, we need to have the software ready.
And second question, from the feedback that you've gotten from your beta testers, what single piece of insight have you gotten that has sparked some kind of change in your business model or what you're doing now?
Right. So when we started with Oye, we actually started talking to brand, directly to the brand. And through the process, we discovered that the brands were very interested on the solution. However, is the communication agencies the one who are going to be using Oye in a daily basis, and it's the communication agency who is going to be making the recommendations. And so that it was a change for us in the strategy. However, we're still talking to both, because at the end of the day, we need the brand support, and we need to understand what's the brand, but also understand what the marketing and communications agencies are using. So I think that was one of the changes that we have done.
Great, thank you.
I had a question on the data that and why you have to purchase data. Is social media is only part of it? And what is the other component of data? What is it census data? Is it survey data? What is?
Yeah,
What is that?
so basically what we're doing is analyzing anything that is in the digital, social media, forums, videos, blog, anything that's out there. Through open source, we are able to get some of that data,
So,
right?
like Twitter is available, Facebook, you just let them out, as long as they like you, you can get in
Well,
there.
it's not that easy, right?
Right.
to get through Facebook to get you. So actually, we're developing partnership with GNIP, and we're getting data through GNIP right now to analyze this. However, absolutely, we want to be able to develop the technology and optimize the technology that we don't have to buy the data from someone else. So open source, we're using open source.
Okay.
So do you have in terms of your product, do you have a product that the beta testers can use now, or is it something that, how much of it have you built to date?
Yeah, no, great question. Actually, what I should show you with the report, that's actually our first insight in the first reporting industry that we are working with Ford and More Communications, which is their agency. So that's the first one, and actually it's something that we are engaging with all the rest of our beta testers to get in all the insight that they have and leverage the similar type of insight for them as well.
And just to follow up on that, so how are you concerned about someone like you mentioned Sprout Social and Radiant 6? Like if they added that layer
They have it. Actually, they do have the layer. So if I go to Salesforce to Region 6 right now,
Right.
they have the layer. So I can go and select and say, I just want to analyze all the conversations in Spanish, in the US, and Puerto Rico. They have it. It's not accurate.
Okay.
So I use it all the
So
time.
you're
with
you're
the client.
improving, yeah, okay.
It's not accurate, yeah.
Can you tell me more about this actual software? I'm trying to understand what it actually does that is really disruptive or very different from what we currently have in terms of the actual output.
Yeah, are you familiar with any of the technology?
I'm not.
Okay. So yeah, so the differentiation in what is this different is because right now, Salesforce or any of the technology that you have right now, Sprout, is limited when it comes to really, really segregated conversation and differentiate Hispanic. So with Oye, you'll be able to actually figure out the Hispanic who, the Hispanic who write comments in English, but it's Hispanic because we have the database of all the last names. So we have the Marias, the Gonzalez, the Pedros, but also we are able to analyze all the conversations in Spanish and Spanglish. Now, all the other technology, they don't really have Spanglish. So the case is if you have a tweet where it is an English or in Spanish, most likely it's going to be put to the English side. And the technology that there is right now available cannot provide sentiment analysis. It only provides sentiment analysis for the English speaker, but not for the Hispanic speaker. Oyo will be able to provide the semantic analysis as well.
Semantic.
In addition to the social monitoring there on the Hispanic side, is there a plan to integrate the traditional media with it? So the print, broadcast, radio, all of that, and having that be sort of an add-on service that you provide, or is that already integrated into what you're monitoring?
No, so right now what Oyo does is all digital. So it's anything that's on the web. So in the case of radio and TV, no less is people talking about a specific programming or a specific product.
What do you want to do with the $1.5 million?
So with yeah, great question. So what we need right now, so we have our CTO who's working on this, but we need to hire a full-time software developer that they can take from where we are right now. We are very early stage, and it can really develop the software. And we need to buy additional data to continue optimizing the technology, but also we need to start providing the insights to the beta testers that have signed up for that. And for that, we need actually additional people that can help us to build it.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it? Thank you.
Great job. Next up, we have Jose from Cradismo.
Hi, my name is Jose Guevara. I'm from Cradismo, and I'm sorry to say, but my co-founder wasn't able to make it today. His name's Jose Huitron. He's the one that actually won the ticket here, but he's organizing a startup weekend in Santa Maria. We're powering Latino genius everywhere. So if you're an entrepreneur, you have lots of different problems. You have problems getting access to capital, resources, and building your community. Now, if you're a Latino entrepreneur, you have an even worse problem. Only 1%, that's just 1% of venture capital goes to Latino or minority startups. So we have a very difficult time raising capital right now. So we looked at that and we said, hey, let's build Cradismo, a rewards-based crowdfunding platform that fuels innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship in the Latino community. So that crowdfunding gives you direct access to capital, and it also lets you market validate your idea and lets you determine exactly what your target market wants from that idea or service. So why do we think crowdfunding is a good idea? Well, one, it's a $5 billion industry just here in the United States and growing exponentially. Also, since 2002, the number of Latino-owned businesses has doubled, and it's over 3 million right now. So we're starting businesses, and we need capital to start and grow those businesses. We also know that Latinos spend over $1 trillion. $2 billion of that is spent online. So we're using computers and mobile devices to make purchases. Now, our goal is to get 1 in 10 Latinos, that would be 2 million of these Latinos that spend online, to become crowdfunders. That means pledge money to crowdfunding projects. Now, if we get that 2 million to spend $25, which is the most common amount pledged on rewards-based crowdfunding, we can generate $48 million a year. That's $48 million that we can put towards projects that are affecting the Latino community and changing Latino lives. So that takes the VCs out of the picture in some cases. So I know there's a lot of competition with some of these really big crowdfunding platforms, but we're leveraging our cultural identity factor that our project has, or that our platform has. So we have a strong sphere of influence in this community, which is the reason I'm talking to you today. And we're also bilingual and bicultural focused. But we're also thinking beyond just capital. We're thinking of non-financial needs like volunteership and mentorship. And we're also trying to bring in bloggers with an affiliate program. And we're doing something very special right now, something that only our platform is doing. We're bringing in sponsored rewards. That means we're getting brands to offer their products as rewards for crowdfunding campaigns. So in particular, magazines like Latina, Siempre Mujer, and People en Español are offering 2-year subscriptions to their magazines as rewards. So that means the project creators get 100% of that pledge. Now, I just want to tell you about a couple of the projects that we have on the site. This is Nada's project, and she's collecting selfies and turning them into painted portraits as one of her art projects. And we've also got Los Fotos project, and this puts cameras into young Latinos' hands and giving them a way to express themselves creatively and potentially finding a new career. And we're also going to launch pretty soon Latino startup tours here in the near future. So what can you guys do right now to help us out? Well, you can follow us on Twitter. You can obviously pledge to our projects. And we'd really appreciate it if you can talk about and create some discussion around our past, present, and future projects. But more importantly, what I want you guys to do is get creative. I want you guys to think, what can you do with $5,000, a couple of volunteers, and maybe a mentor? What difference could you make in the difference of the lives of your friends, your families, and our community? So go home, try to figure that out, and when you do, come to Cradismo. We're going to help you turn that idea into a reality. So we've talked to hundreds of people, and what's funny is when you talk to all those people, only one out of 100 only knows what crowdfunding is. When you understand that, this meme is really funny. So we're Cradismo. Thanks for listening, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
So I'm curious,
Yeah.
why did you take the approach of taking, 1 in 10 Latinos, $25 sort of,
I think it's just
smaller?
I think that's just a modest projection. I mean, we got to start somewhere. Even if it was half of that, we'd still make plenty. It would generate plenty of money. So, and our business model, we do take 5 to 10%. It's 5 to 8% depending on the type of project that's created. We're no different than Indiegogo, the way our pricing model is.
But you're different from, say, crowdfunder in the types of.
Oh yes, we're more creative projects,
Okay.
Entrepreneurial projects. But I mean, crowdfunders more like startups, funding startups themselves. We're not exactly there yet.
Thank you.
So what's your biggest challenge right now? What's funding and, sleep deprivation aside and all of
Yeah.
that? What's
It's educating the public. That's just one of the biggest problems we have. Like that slide was showing, you can talk to 100 people and only one of them, even understands what crowdfunding is. They don't understand that it's a way of democratizing the funding process, that it's something that can really, it lets you contribute to some of these projects, but also gives you the power to start one of these projects and get access to the capital that you need. And again, we're going a little bit beyond just money. We want to do, one of the biggest problems that the project creators have is they go into this and they think that if you build it, they will come. That you're just going to collect all this money. It just doesn't work that way. There's a lot of work that you have to do to engage your target market, even just find that target market. And it's just, we see a lot of funds at the beginning, and then their activity in engaging their audience drops off, and that's when the funding drops off. So we try to tell them this, and they just, it's a lot of work. So we do have a system out there that we try to get them to think three months ahead of time, start engaging bloggers, local media, building a mailing list, get all that stuff ahead of time before you're collecting a single dollar. And then on that day one, have people that are already going to pledge money to your project. I mean, those are all commonly known things that you can do to increase the success of your project. But it's not all of our project creators have followed that, or there's a lot of reasons. I mean, just in general, the whole industry, the failure rate's around 50%. So that tells you how hard of a market it is. So you have to have a really good, compelling project, a strong group behind it, and again, we're trying to add some things that these other crowdfunding platforms aren't doing, like affiliate programs, sponsored rewards, mentorship, maybe non-financial needs and stuff like that. So we're trying to integrate functionality that will amplify their efforts so they don't have to work so hard.
What kind of projects are you seeing? Tech, arts and crafts, makers?
Yeah, so there have been some philanthropic ones. So the one was, our first project was a young Latino entrepreneur who had this jewelry store. She was importing handmade, handcrafted jewelry from Ecuador and buying it from them and then selling it here in the United States. So that was a really cool project. I mean, that was just the quintessential project for something, our platform here. But we've got some art projects as well, and then we've helped fund an app, RecCheck app, and then we're seeing some other ones. What other? Yeah, mostly like philanthropic kind of projects and creative. So.
How much are you guys looking to raise and what are the proceeds used for?
I'm sorry, so how much we're trying to raise, ourselves? We haven't, like my co-founder says, we're chunkless strapping right now. I think we want to get to the point where scaling is an issue, and we think we can solve that by raising funds. I think that's the point we want to get. Right now, we're working on our first 10, then we're going to work on our first 50, then our first 100, and keep going. And then once we start having some issues with scaling, with personnel and stuff like that, then we're going to start looking at trying to raise some funds. But right now, I just don't think it's the right time.
I like the idea of the sponsored rewards. That sounds like a really good way to provide a reward that people will automatically be interested in.
Yeah.
How about approaching the brands and having them try to do a little bit more, like maybe they include it as part of their distribution, right? Not only will you get our product, but you'll also sponsor a project on
As
your
in
site.
monetarily? Or?
Not necessarily monetarily, but just help as part of the education process, right? You've mentioned that 1 in 100 people don't understand what crowdfunding is, but
right.
if you have another party involved that will be giving out a reward, they might be able to help with that education challenge.
Yeah, well, with the RecCheck app, Draper and the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce, they came in and they were actually spreading, using their social media channels to spread the word about that particular app, because the project creator was from Draper University, and we had partnered with the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce as a media partner. So we're trying a lot of different types of relationships with brands and companies. So.
If you were to pivot away from just focusing on Latinos, because it is a limited market, what direction would you take this into?
I think, personally, I think the platform itself can stand on its own against all these other platforms. And technologically, I think we can do that. Right now, this isn't necessarily about money right now. It's about bringing crowdfunding to this community and trying to create some really cool projects and making a change in this community. So, maybe white label, something like that, or
focusing on the Latino demographic. I mean, it's an uphill climb for education to educate everybody.
Yeah.
You're limiting yourself because you created the level of effort to create Cradismo. To do one demographic, you can do it for the entire world, right?
Right.
And so maybe you're on your way to, maybe it is all about artisan work, and it's a global scale. Like maybe you want to reach out to Africa, right? You want to reach out to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And folks can crowdsource projects.
Sure.
That are being done there.
I just think this is the community we live in. This is something we really understand. my co-founder, he's been blogging about Latinos in social media for just years now. So this is where we're really strong, and this is where we really identify. So I'm not sure. There'd have to be really, really good reason for us to diverge right now at this point. So. Great, thank you.
All right, let's thank all of our entrepreneurs. So the judges are going to convene quickly here, and they're going to discuss our winner for the Latino Startup Competition Award. It took a while there. It came down to decimal points. No, we were.
It really.
It really did, and so it was a good deliberation, and so we did come up with a winner for our first competition here at Hispanicize. And I'm going to have Christina from Strayer University come announce the winner and maybe add any comments.
Yeah, no, sure. So, I have to say, and everybody always says this, but this is so true. We had a pretty, I don't know if it was contentious. It wasn't contentious, but it was lively. We had a lively discussion, so it was very, very hard. And congratulations to everybody who has come up. That is not easy to do. And we know that we kind of peppered you with questions, and all of your ideas absolutely are disruptive and are going to change the world. So please continue doing what you're doing. Very excited to be part of this process. So without further ado, the selected winner is Interesante. Interesante, we decided. So come on up. And just as a reminder, you will be getting sort of expert sessions with our various illustrative experts here that are up on this panel, as well as a marketing PR prize pack, tablet, Samsung watch. So, congratulations. Is there any words you want to say?
This is a very big surprise. I was not expecting. But thank you very much. This was wonderful. It was a great experience, and I loved coming here. It was great. Thank you.
Yeah, we should get all the panelists. Yeah.